I've been waiting all week for Sunday afternoon. Big Deke News. Just get me to Sunday at 1 o'clock at this point. Enough of the chatter. Time to see what we got on the field.
Yeah, it's week one.
And I already thought the Steelers were going to dismantle the Jets in this one, but now the chances of that happening go up even greater because the Jets will be without their best offensive lineman. Alijah Vera is not only out for week one with a tricep injury, but he's going to be out for the whole season because it's going to require surgery. So if you look at these Jets matchups for their offensive line and what they're going to be facing, safe to say Fields is not going to be having a fun day out there. TJ Watt is going up against first-time starter as a rookie, Armin Membaugh, on that right side. And then on the left side, Olu Fashanu, who was the Jets' first-round pick just a year ago, is still very inexperienced going up against a healthy Alex Highsmith, and probably Nick Herbig will be rotated in there, both on the left side and the right side. Then in the interior, we already mentioned Alijah Vera is going to be out. Looks like next man up is going to be Xavier Newman. Maybe they bump Josh Myers from center to guard. Who knows? But whatever combination it is between Newman, Myers, Tippmann, and Simpson, I don't think it's going to be favorable for the Jets against the Steelers' interior of Cam Heyward, Y.A. Black, and Keanu Benton. Now, the way the Jets can neutralize the Steelers' front seven is if they actually have success running the ball with the trio of Justin Fields, Breece Hall, and Braylon Allen, which is why my first Big Deke key for the Steelers' victory is to sell out and stop the run and make Justin Fields beat you with his arm. Because even though he did a solid job for us last year as the starter in those 6 games, we did limit his pass attempts, and there's still serious questions about him being a competent full-time starting quarterback in the NFL. And if we do make him pass, his weapons aren't anything really to write home about. Garrett Wilson's good, but then as his 2 and 3, it's Josh Reynolds and mediocre Allen Lazard. Now, watch that. Allen Lazard take's going to come back to haunt me midseason when the Steelers trade for him, and I'm going to be saying, oh, Lazard's actually the perfect thing for the Steelers offense. It's exactly what we need right now. That familiarity with Rodgers is going to help. But then they got Mason Taylor, who's a rookie at their tight end, so unproven there. I think the Steelers, not a stretch to say that they'll be capable of shutting down those Jets weapons with our secondary and not really need much extra help. We could probably bump a safety, bump an extra linebacker up into the box or at the line of scrimmage to help stop the run. Now listen, the Jets still have to block for that too. That's the other thing. It's not only that TJ Watt, Highsmith, Herbig, Steelers interior defensive line, the linebackers are going to be getting after it in the pass rush, but I think they should also do a pretty decent job when the Jets decide to run too, because I like the O-line, the Jets O-line matchup versus our front seven there. It's just that's where our focus should be. Stop the run, neutralize that, make Justin Fields beat us with his arm. Now on offense, we know it's all about Aaron Rodgers.
He's a bad man.
Now here's a fun stat for you. This is the first time 2 opposing quarterbacks face off against their former teams in a week 1 game. How about that picture, though? The Rodgers hugging Tomlin while Russ and Fields are on the outside looking in. I don't know much about the photography business, but whoever took that picture, I feel like deserves a raise. There was a lot of thought, a lot of knowledge put into that. Not only is it, you got to get the picture, right? You got to get the timing right, all that stuff. But you got to know ball, too, enough to say, hey, this could be very meaningful down the line. This could be used many, many times in publications and articles. So whoever took that deserves some cash, deserves some money. Now, the Photoshop may even be better than the actual picture, but I guess you need the picture to do the Photoshop. So shout out to Bird Creative for this one. But back to Rodgers and this Steelers offense. I'm getting a sneaky suspicion that these tight ends, these 4 tight ends are going to be utilized a ton in this offense, which is why the Steelers weren't too desperate throughout the course of this offseason to bring in another wide receiver too. It just hasn't been as high of a priority as Steeler fans wanted it to be, but I think this explains why.
I think it's the best tight end room that I've been around in 21 years because you have 4 extremely capable guys. And we had different runs in Green Bay where we had, some great players, but just the depth that we have here with 4 guys who you feel great about having on the field at any time. And they all have different skill set they bring to the table.
We already know what Muth and Jonnu Smith bring to the table. They both have certain intricacies to their game. They're proven. Muth is a more traditional tight end. He lines up more on the inside, like either the slot or a traditional tight end spot. Gets open, good route runner, nice safety valve for the quarterback. Pretty good hands outside of, that drop pass in Week 18 against the Bengals. And also the drop pass in his rookie year where Big Ben threaded the needle in that Steelers-Vikings game, that epic comeback in the second half that Big Ben put together. I think he had four passing touchdowns there. And Muth, dropped one, hit him right in the hands between 2 defenders. Unreal pass by Big Ben would have capped off an amazing comeback. But I digress. Jonnu Smith, let's get into his game. Versatile, line him up all over the place. Whether you're talking outside receiver, slot, traditional tight end, H-back, fullback, wherever. Good run after, good red zone target. Now, those are the top 2 guys. Rodgers is mentioning tight end room, so there's 2 others. And I think he really wants to get Darnell Washington involved, especially in the red zone. Now, sadly, we've been saying this for Darnell's first couple seasons in the NFL. Unfortunately, it took Aaron Rodgers signing here and him saying, hey, I think that 6'8" guy, I think he could be utilized a little bit more, especially when we get down within the 20. It's sad it took a couple seasons of Darnell's career and us signing Aaron Rodgers to get to this point, but I guess better late than never, they say. It sounds like Darnell, the way Rodgers has been talking about him ever since the start of, I won't say the start of the offseason, but the start of Rodgers being a Steeler, that he's had his eye on Darnell being featured in this passing game, comparing him to Mercedes Lewis, and then he also even mentioned this in his press conference yesterday.
And I can't even say who's the most impressive, maybe the biggest guy in the room, because of how many things he can do down the field in the passing game. There was a lot of conversation about, is he in the right position? The other day we had a practice during that week before the 4 days off, and I threw him a bunch of balls in the red zone, and I was just thinking to myself, he's definitely in the right position because he's so big and so athletic for a man of that size. To be that skilled in the passing game is pretty impressive, not to mention what he does on the line of scrimmage.
Connor Heyward could see an uptick in production, being the 4th guy in this tight end room. Rodgers seems to like him. Now, I would say it shouldn't be hard to see an uptick in production compared to what you did last year, because you're going from 0, so it can only go up from there. But I will say this, every time Connor Heyward is out on the field, he does good things. It's just that he didn't get much opportunity last year, wasn't involved in the offense. It was Arthur Smith's first year being the offensive coordinator, and I just didn't think he could find a way to utilize Connor Heyward that much. With Russ and Fields being the quarterback, now you got Rodgers saying he really likes Heyward. I'm sure there's been a collaboration effort between Rodgers, Arthur Smith to get Heyward out there. He does good things. Now, I don't know about these comments about him calling himself the scapegoat now. Like, Cordarrelle Patterson was the scapegoat last year. Now he's the scapegoat for Steeler fans. Just a ridiculous comment. I promise no one is blaming Connor Heyward for the Steelers' shortcomings or any Steelers' losses or Steelers' failures. I think we're just at the point right now, fans are questioning if Heyward's deserving of a roster spot, regardless of his last name. Now, I like Connor Heyward's game. I just said that. It seems like he does good things when he's out on the field. But I think it was fair to question if there was a spot for him, considering he's never really found a true position just yet, and we have a ton of depth at receiver, we have a ton of depth at running back, and a ton of depth at tight end ahead of him. And then calling Cordarrelle Patterson a scapegoat, that doesn't make sense either. We just didn't think he was good. We just didn't think he was worth a roster spot. If you're talking about scapegoat, if anything, Russ was the scapegoat last year. We'd probably put more blame on him than deserved for the Steelers' failure over the last, 5 games of the season. That's what a scapegoat is, right? That's what the definition of a scapegoat is. No one's blaming or saying Connor Heyward or Cordarrelle Patterson is one of the critical people as to why the Steelers failed this season or last season. Like, they are at the bottom of the list. As I said last year, it was a lot of Russ and a lot of Tomlin. Didn't hear Connor Heyward as being a catalyst for why the Steelers lost the last 5 games and went 10-7. So this was just a ridiculous comment. Absolutely. Connor Heyward, the scapegoat. Not at all. And I guarantee you, if the Steelers don't win to the way that we expect this year, we're not blaming Connor Heyward. We are not. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers, Tomlin, maybe some of the new additions, T.J. Watt getting the new contract, Cam Heyward, like your brother, complaining about the contract, and if we don't live up, the defense isn't as good as we think it is, and Cam Heyward has a little bit of a down year. Like, that's what we're going to be talking about, not Connor Heyward. So I don't know where that came from. But one more thing with this tight end room that I wanted to mention. Do we have a chant dilemma? You know how in the past when Heath caught a ball, we would say Heath. Now that has transitioned to Muth. What do we do with Jonnu? Pat Fryermuth addressed it.
So Jonnu Smith obviously joining you guys and joining your unit. It feels like he's going to have to earn a little bit of his stripes here. We're going to need a little bit of Heath from him, then maybe the Muth, and then maybe he gets his own new something in that realm. But he has to earn his stripes a little bit. It can't be coming out of the gates and he's automatically getting the new chance.
That'd be funny. That'd be cool. That'd be cool if we had a Muth and a new chant. I think he definitely needs to catch a touchdown first, though.
I think the answer is very simple. Jonnu, right? Jonnu. That's it. It's not too hard. Maybe he does have to catch a touchdown first, and then we do it. But if we want to do it on his first catch, and now we don't have to. I guess we do have to worry about it for week 1. I was going to say we don't have to worry about it till week 2 with our first home game, but apparently there's going to be, no one should be surprised about this. There's going to be a Steelers takeover at Jet Stadium. People are predicting 50% of the fans being Steeler fans at the game. I could see it even being more than that, maybe 60 or 70%, because ticket prices aren't that high. And we know Steeler fans travel well, and I don't think Jets fans are really that excited about this season. So maybe it happens at Jet Stadium. Maybe Jonnu gets his first chance there, and that's what it should be. It should be that simple. Jonnu. Not hard. Doesn't have to be complicated. Now, I did mention with the offense, we broke down some keys to victory for the defense. Offense starts with Aaron Rodgers. It looks like the tight ends may get utilized, and this isn't even a week 1 thing. I think this is going to be a whole season thing. But it just comes down to Aaron Rodgers. It's just that simple. Because we could talk about the Steelers establishing the run. We could talk about us passing well. But that's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be the signal caller at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be the one making the audibles. Him and Arthur Smith are coming up with the game plan. Aaron Rodgers, is he playing at an Aaron Rodgers elite type of level? Is he seeing the field well? Is he making the right audibles, getting us in the right play? And is the offensive line protecting him? It's pretty much that simple. Because if that happens, Rodgers is going to cook. And I think he's not only going to cook week 1, but he's going to cook for the whole season. And if you're just talking about the quarterback matchup, because that's really the big storyline in this game. Aaron Rodgers facing his former team, Justin Fields facing his former team. I got Rodgers outplaying Fields in this one, hands down. I already mentioned the defense going up against Fields and, what the keys for victory are and how we should be approaching it. But it's bro, the defense Fields is going to have to face is a lot harder than what Rodgers is going to have to face with the Jets. And Rodgers, I feel like the familiarity factor is going to benefit him more than anything with Fields, not only because the Jets have less turnover than what the Steelers defense dealt with this offseason, but Rodgers, again, has been in the league for how long and has all that experience and is able to make audibles and checks and exploit and manipulate defense's strengths and weaknesses and all that stuff. He knows, even though the Jets defense changed schemes a little bit, he knows all those players and what their tendencies are. Whereas Fields, week 1 in a new offense, his third new team in 3 years, he's just trying to run the offense, man. That's it. I think the coordinator, the play caller, and Fields are trying to find still the right fit on what's the best offense here tailored towards Fields. There's not going to be a lot of crazy stuff done at the line of scrimmage. So advantage Rodgers there, but also I like our weapons. I was just going over to tight ends. I like our weapons better than what the Jets got. I think Rodgers has more to work with here. Maybe you could say the running back rooms are a wash, but then DK Metcalf as Steelers 1 versus Garrett Wilson as Jets 1. I'll take DK. Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, their talent and upside, I'm taking over Alan Lazard and Josh Reynolds all day. And then tight end room, I don't even think it's close. Muth, Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington, Connor Heyward versus Mason Taylor over there. We win there. So, like, you combine all these factors. I got Rodgers going on a heater, man. The revenge game, too. Motivation at an all-time high. Every time this dude's back is up against the wall and people are doubting him, you look throughout the course of his career, whether you go back to college, to the pros where he was overlooked in the draft and had to sit behind Brett Favre. What did he do his first 3-4 years in the league? After Brett Favre retired, won a Super Bowl, MVP, all that stuff. What happened after the Packers drafted Jordan Love and they were claiming that he was going to be the next guy coming up and, you know, Rodgers, your best days are behind you. He wins back-to-back MVPs and goes on another run there. And now everyone's saying he's washed, can't do it anymore, too old. We'll see. We'll see. I'm expecting not 1, not 2, but at least 3 touchdowns for Rodgers in this game. And I think the Steelers dismantle the Jets. And the score is going to be like 28-10, 28-7, something like that. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed this edition of Big Deke News. Stay chilling. Peace.